Welcome everybody to part 6 of my Honda 3-wheeler conversion dirt bike build series. In our last video, we made these super cool fiberglass molds out of foam, so this week we can build some nifty custom side panels for the bike. So now that the silicone caulk is dried up, we can mix up some resin and start laying down the fiberglass. Let's do it! Now, since this isn't going to be any kind of a structural piece, I'm thinking one layer of fiberglass on the outside of the mold is going to be plenty strong, especially after I cover the whole thing in long strand fiberglass filler later in the video. Now we just have to figure out how we're going to mount these things to the bike, so let's grab some sheet metal and bolts and start making some mounting studs. Now what I'm doing, well, besides setting the bench on fire, is I'm welding some 6mm bolts to these little sheet metal squares I chopped up on the bandsaw, and the plan is to use another layer of fiberglass and mold these little guys inside the first layer. Now that the resin is set up, we can chop the excess fiberglass off the panels, pop our molds out, scuff everything up really good, and then we can mold our little mounting stud thingies to the back side of the panels. There, now that everything is scuffed up really nice, we can take our little mounting studs, mold them into the panels with another layer of fiberglass, and then move on to making them look really pretty with some bodywork. Let's move on to the bodywork. I'm mixing up some long strand fiberglass filler to lay down on top of the roughed up fiberglass. Now this stuff is kind of a pain in the butt to work with, but it does a great job of smoothing out and strengthening up the fiberglass panel. Yeah, that's looking great. So beyond coating the entire outside of the panel, I also ran a layer of filler along the edge of the inside as well. This should make the thing as strong as a fiberglass boat. Now let's go clean it up with some 80 grit sandpaper. Now we're getting somewhere. There's still quite a few low spots and air bubbles here and there, but we're going to fix that right up with a nice skim coat of Bondo. My Bondo work is just as ugly as my fiberglass work. But well, it's a good thing I really enjoy sanding and priming. See, it's going to turn out just fine. A little more sanding and we'll be ready to lay down some thick coats of polyester filler primer. Now I'm on to mixing up a little bit of polyester filler primer to spray down on top of my Bondo. Now I really like this stuff because you can lay it down really thick and it sands super easy, and usually after a couple rounds of blocking and sanding, I've had good luck getting all the imperfections out of my body filler. I want to ask a question for Byron or any of you other body shop professional wizards out there. I'm just wondering if I'm using the right procedures and materials in building these things. So please let me know in the comments if there's something I should be doing differently or if I'm catastrophically jacking anything up. And don't worry about coming across as critical or negative or anything like that. I'll take all the help I can get, and I'm sure the folks in the comments will appreciate it as well. Thanks. Now on to building the mounting brackets that are going to bolt up to the bike. I'm chopping up some thick sheet metal strips, and I'm going to take them over to the vise and see if I can make some 90-degree bends without a sheet metal brake. Yeah, that should work fine. Now let's drill some holes and get these bad boys bolted up to the fiberglass panels. You can see that I used a nut on the front and the back side of the 6mm stud. Now this will allow me to adjust the panel in or out on the bike if needs be. Yeah, that's looking pretty darn close to how I wanted everything to look. A little block sanding on that guide coat, and this one will be ready for paint. Now let's finish up the mount for the other panel so we can see how they look on the bike as a pair. Yeah, this thing's really coming together nicely, but we got a lot of work left to do in the upcoming weeks. So be sure to subscribe if you don't want to miss out on next week's video. And if you need a little something to tide you over until next week, you can click the video on the left if you want to check out the video where we made the fiberglass molds a couple weeks ago. or you can click on the video on the right to check out another one of my sweet-ass builds. Please click the like button on your way out, and I'll see you next week.